कमलासन वंदित पादाब्जे कमनीय करोदय साम्राज्ये कमला नगरे सकलाकारे कमल नयन धृत जगदाधारे कमले विमले गुरुगुह जननि कमलापति नुत हृदये माये.
Hello all, welcome to Sarga Samvad dialogue series. I am Krithika Sreenivasan, a classical musician and an education manager at Indian Music Experience Museum. Today we have with us a vocalist, a Vainika, a musicologist, a member of the Royal Family of Travancore, an eternal seeker. This sums up the persona of our guest speaker today. So hearty welcome to Vidwan Prince Rama Varma sir. Welcome to you sir. As part of the first segment, Growing Up Years, could you please let us know how you were initiated into classical music?
Actually, I was not initiated into classical music to start with. I was initiated into music of all kinds. I lived in Thiruvananthapuram in Kerala. So we had one Navaratri festival, which was about the only live concert experience I used to get every year for 9 days. Rest of the time, it was all recorded music. Mostly, my father is an international traveler. So he used to visit so many countries at that time, not just the usual England or America, but he would go to Indonesia and Malaysia and Thailand and Philippines and some other. From each place, at that time, audio cassettes had not come yet. It was the LP record. So he used to buy LP records of the local music. So I used to just listen to these records from various parts of the world. And my sister was very big into Hindi film songs. So she used to buy the, at that time, latest hits, which is 1971, 72, 73. So at that time, that was the time when Kishore Kumar was like king of the field. My father used to listen to old Hindi film songs also, not ancient like 1930s, but Raj Kapoor, Guru Dutt, Dilip Kumar, that Devanand, 1950s, 60s. So I used to listen, this was what I listened to, and the live concerts at Navaratri Mandapam. Then my great-grandmother, who was popularly known as Amma Maharani, she was completely passionate about music. She was passionate about food and music, actually, among many other things. And so she would get musicians, Carnatic musicians, legendary musicians to come to my home and sing even without Shruti, just voice and nothing else. So we have had M.D. Ramanathan and Chemmangudi Srinivasan and K.V. Narayanaswamy and M.S. Amma and M.K. Kalyana Bhagavatar, K.S. Narayanaswamy. Like, it's so many kind of who is who of Carnatic music from 50s, 60s, 70s. They used to come to my house, and I had no idea that these were legendary musicians at that time. And I would listen to Carnatic music sung by them, Carnatic music at the Navaratri concerts, Hindi film songs, and this music from many countries. And all this was the same for me. I just liked music. That's all. It's much later that I started differentiating there. Oh, this is that kind of music. That is this kind of music. Then when I went to school, in 8th standard, I joined a school called Christ Nagar. It was a convent school. There, one teacher was there who presumed that because I was from the royal family, Aswathi Thirunal family and whatever, I would be a musician. Actually, I didn't even know that the first swaram was called Sa at that time. I listened, that's all. I never sang at all. So he called me and said, oh, there is this music group inauguration. You better attend that meeting. They would sing a school prayer and a national anthem and one or two other prayers, Lead Kindly Light and Make Me a Channel of My Peace. These are popular Christian hymns. So I didn't know how to sing, but I would just, because it's a chorus, there were 5, 6 others, and I would just move my mouth a little bit, you know. And firstly, I had to learn the lyrics, and Then our music group won first prize in the state level youth festival. I still had the child voice; it had not changed yet. And then my great grandmother Amma Maharani, the positive side was that she was very very passionate about music. So then when news spread that my group had won a prize in a music competition, so she was completely thrilled. So then she asked me, "Can you sing what you sang?" So it was this really folk type song. It had nothing to do with classical. It would be like, "Oh hoi 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 re, oh hoi 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 re, oh hoi 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 re, oh hoi 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 re," like that. I still remember because that's the first song I ever learned. And I sang this song in front of her. She was like, that was very nice, but if you learn classical music, it will be even more nice. So I'm like, oh, okay. I mean, I had nothing against classical music, though I only like listening, never wanted to sing myself. And then she selected my guru, which is the greatest gift I ever got in my life, Vechur Harihara Subramania Iyer, who was product of Thiruvananthapuram Aswathi Thirunal Academy of Music. So Vechur Harihara Subramania was selected by my great grandmother. And one day she told me, tomorrow after you come back from school, you have a shower and get ready because music classes are going to begin. So I had completely forgotten about it. So I was like, oh, okay. And he started. So we sang at G Shruti at that time. So he would sing in the lower octave and I'll sing in the higher octave with a child voice. And that was how it was a long backstory, but this is how step by step it came to my actually learning music.
So, apart from Amma Maharani, who do you consider were your musical influences in your life, in your
I,
growing up years?
that number one, number two, number three, number four, like that around number 1 to 100 is Sri M.D. Ramanathan. So M.D. Ramanathan was one musician whose voice, whose personality, I used to hear him live at the Navaratri Mandapam, and he was around 6 feet 4 inches tall. And he had this classic artistic fingers. The fingers would be, I mean, now mine are normal. His would be like really long. So he would weave patterns in the air while singing and he'll be completely lost. He's not aware where he is. Like that, he would be lost in music and singing, and I would be just mesmerized. I would forget to breathe just looking at him. That was one extreme. The other extreme was Kishore Kumar, who both these remain like my two eyes or my sun and moon even now. I mean, what I felt at age 4 and 9 and 15 and whatever, without knowing music. Now I have learned music a little bit, but the fascination, oh my God, that feeling before M.D. Ramanathan and Kishore Kumar remains the same, unchanged. I mean, sometimes when we are children, we are fascinated by some people. Then later we outgrow them. We realize, oh, it's not such a big deal. But this, after knowing music a little bit, I'm even more amazed at what these two people have done in their own different ways. Later, I became very attracted to the music of Madurai Iyer. So generally, if a music student asks me, "Oh, I want to develop my Manodharmam, Raga Alapana, Atanam, Swaram, everything, Pallavi, not that much, but I'll say just one stop solution means you go to Madurai Iyer. Sahityam will not be clear or anything, but the Manodharmam aspect and the Sangeetam, anything, whether it's Ranjani or Bahudari or Kamas or Kamboji or Tod, anything Madurai touches, we have heavy and light. No, so normally M.D. Ramanathan is definitely heavy, but by light, some people automatically think of something which is watered down or diluted or what. So, but there is this other light which is the opposite of heavy, which is light, which is just floating and flying, and that lightness Madurai had. So even if it's a studio recording, it feels like a live concert. Whether he sang Todi or Kararapriya also, it will be just so sparkling and flying around, not ponderous or tedious or heavy or boring. So for that, I love Madurai, and it's a very nice combination for me to have one extreme heavy M.D. Ramanathan and the other extreme light Madurai. Not light, as I said, as in watered down, but this buoyant kind of music of Madurai.
And coming to the next question, did your royal lineage, being descendants of Maharaja Aswathi Thirunal Rama Varma and Raja Ravi Varma, add any pressure in your growing up years?
Earlier, some great Vidwans have played with me because they were so close to my great grandmother. They say, "Oh, the Amma Maharani, great grandson is singing." So, Amma Maharani was so nice to us when we were teenagers and coming up. So, let us support him. Like that, big artists have played accompaniment with me. So, that when I entered the field, that was how it started. So the people without, and at that time I called myself Varma or Rama Varma only, but people used to put my name as His Highness Prince Aswathi Thirunal Rama Varma of Travancore. So it will be such a big name, and nobody had seen me. So the curtain will open, and this kid, 20-year-old kid, would be sitting there, and we like, and on one side it will be Professor T. N. Krishnan, and the other side it will be Umayal Purashivaraman. So these big people used to play with me, because of which many people, without even hearing me, they just decided he's from the palace and he'll have royal family backing, and big musicians play with him. So naturally, that is the only thing. But his own music will be zero. The people presume like that. So we can't blame them also, because it's normal human nature just to assume things, no, about various things. During my formative years, it was not easy at all. But I am eternally thankful to all the senior or any Vidwans who have played with me during those years, because without being condescending, being supportive, like a ideal parent would, how loving they would be to their children, that kind of mentality they have played. And that had a big influence on me, because to give accompanists the maryada, because they were so much senior to me. Before I was born, they had given thousands of concerts. So even now, I treat my accompanists very, very nicely. Even if I go to a foreign country and I'm sharing the stage with two people whom I've never seen before, the moment I sit on stage, it's like I feel protective, like a mother hen towards their chickens. No, they come. We'll take care of each. So suppose I miss one finger or one beat, means they will adjust. And suppose they miss a beat or do something, I will not show on my face that, hey, what was that? No. So we are all covering up for each other and supporting each other. It's a very, very, very cozy, warm, friendly, harmonious, joyful atmosphere on stage, thanks to the kindness, the generosity, the support, the blessings, the love I have received from those big people who played with me when I started out.
So nice to hear about the team spirit where you don't let go of each other. So,
Yeah.
so not only are you a vocalist but an accomplished Vainika as well. So how did you make time to excel in both of these fields?
I am mostly 97% concentrating on singing more than Veena playing. But anyone who knows how to play Veena would know two or three things. One, how difficult it is to travel with a Veena. And two, how difficult it is to maintain a Veena also, because the positions of the swarams, because of the temperature variation and because of practice, they keep moving a little bit. So from time to time, we have to give the Veena for what they call melam, where we set the notes in the right place. Otherwise, you can be the greatest Veena player, but if the notes are not in the correct position, it will sound horrible. I stopped giving Veena concerts, but now during the lockdown, which went on indefinitely for many months, I was practicing a little bit, and I have made small videos of like 5 minutes, 10 minutes long videos on my phone at home, and I have uploaded them on YouTube. So if you search for Prince Rama Varma, Veena, then there's a playlist of like 20-25 songs, which I played quite recently. So I keep in touch with Veena and use it more as an aid to my singing for the Gamaka Shuddham. So you say Kamboji, you say Padasa, for example. And Kedaragaula, you say Panisa. Many people, they will do ta-da-ta for both. So how can you show without saying da and ni? How can you show which is Padasa and Panisa? So then this my Veena Guru K.S. Narayanaswamy sir told me, you don't do that much Gamakam in Kamboji as you do in Kedaragala. So Maga Pada Pada Sa, or even plain da. Maga Pada Sa Bada Pada Sa Da Sa Re Sa Da, plain da. Pani Sa Re 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 Ma Ga Re Ga Re Sa Ni Sa Re Sa. So this kind of gamakam where ni, you're saying ni, but you're still in pacha, ni. So where it starts where it stops, to what extent it oscillates, and how many times it oscillates. See, but Neelambari, sa ni da ni sa ni pa ma. So ma, the ga ma ga ma ga ma ga. So same ga ma ga ma, one person. Ga ma ga ma ga ma. It doesn't have that way. So first you stay on ga for some time, and then only slowly move. Ma ga ma pa. So ma is like that. Ga ma ma. Another ma. Ga ma pa ma ga ma ga. There's another ma. So in Neelambari itself, within ma ga ma pa ma, three mas came already in that small 3-second phrase. So this analytically, as a music teacher now, it becomes very easy for me to explain to a student who may not have Swaratnanam or knowledge or grasp or vision of Swarams, how to split and how to give gamakams. That Veena learning, even by my Guruji Balamurli Krishna sir, who was a multi-instrumentalist, he played violin, viola, mridangam, ganjara, so many things. So some phrases when he would sing in his own compositions, which are very subtle gamakams, and I used to reproduce that, which many others could not. It is not because I was smarter or others were dull. It was only because I knew Veena. So I would reproduce that correctly, and he'll smile and say, "You know Veena, no? That is very easily everything will come." It's just instrument clarity. So if we learn correctly, of course, you can learn Veena like many other things. You can learn Veena wrongly also. But if you learn correctly, then it goes on giving its blessings. Even if you are listening to some other music, automatically, like the X-ray of the melody, you can see what is happening inside. So,
I am very curious about this question. Were you a curious student? So, did you question your gurus, of course, with humility, like why should allied ragas be avoided in a concert, or what differentiates one raga from another, or even something very basic as why do we have 7 notes?
I always curious, and I was very lucky that my gurus were very kind and patient and encouraging. I was never an upstart or just for the sake of argument. I like that I never did, but I would genuinely have doubts. So that all my gurus, I had 4 gurus, they were all very kind in answering my questions. And one guru in particular, my Veena guru, K.S. Narayanaswamy sir, he would be thrilled when I asked some pertinent questions. So, for example, there is a Subbaraya Shastri composition, A Mani. So, A Mani, Hari Haya, the Charanam. So, Badasa Hari Haya, it comes like so. It's to me, it sounds like ni sa ni da pa. It sounds like Bhairavi only. So I would ask him, sir, in Mukhari, how can ni come? So he'll be so, oh, you got that out, and he'll be like, eyes will be twinkling. Then he says, Periyava. So Periyava, like great people, he would never say anything and attribute it to himself, even if it is his own thought. He'll say, Periyava solluvar. I mean, the great people used to say. Then he will say what he wants to say, but prefix it by Periyava solluvar. So they would say, you can take it da sada sa ni da pa. Instead of ni, don't think of it as ni. But you caught that. So he'll be so thrilled that, oh, that little questionable phrase caught my ear or eye. He would be very thrilled. K.S. Narayanaswamy was my, even now, I mean, he lived a full life. He was in his 90s when he passed away in the year, I think, 1999 or something like that. So many decades have passed after he died. His centenary is over. Even now, I miss him, because I miss him specifically for what you just said, for me to ask a question and to be given an authentic answer. And suppose he says, okay, this is how it should be done. Then second question, why? Yes. Then instead of saying, because I say so, no. He will give instantly 10 examples. See this phrase in Tyagaraja's this composition, Dikshitar's this composition. Just at that time, no internet, no Google, nothing. But from memory, you would pick out that phrase which he said, this is how it should be sung, used by the great Periyava, as I say, the great people, and illustrate that. So he would take those compositions by our great composers as the blueprint for those ragas. If, for example, Ananda Bhairavi, for example, if you look at all Ananda Bhairavi songs, we never find any sancharam down. Below sa, it will be zapa Pamagare sa re ni sa mamagare, but sa ni da pa. Nobody has done. So there is no written rule saying that you should not sing sa ni da pa in Ananda Bhairavi. So he would say, just since none of those people did Sani Dappa in Ananda Bhairavi, we take it as there is no Sancharam in Ananda Bhairavi below Sa. But there is no written rule like that. So there are some musicians who are motivated, whatever they do is not why, but why not. So my guru, he would say it's better to just think why and not always why not, why not, why not, and to be different for the sake of being different. Self discipline has been inculcated into me because of these people. So I don't do something just for the sake of saying, oh, why not? You know? So yeah, so I used to ask questions and but get answers very kindly and patiently.
So, with this, we move on to the next segment, which is the golden years of a musician's life, if you can call. So, can you tell us something about the role of your gurus in shaping your personality and music? So, to what extent have had their role? What is the importance? How much would you credit to them or something to your sadhana?
There is this ancient theory which is 100% true that even if your guru is Superman, you can learn maximum 25% only from a guru, any guru. 25% only we can learn from a guru, 25% we learn from our own practice, then 50%, then the next third 25% we learn from observing other people, practitioners of the same art and from different art. Even then only 75%. The last 25% comes gradually with age and experience. So that is such a solid theory, which is not modern at all. But people forget that, and they say, "Oh, I owe everything to my guru." See, for example, I have a. If you look at 100 of my videos, 97 will have B. Harikumar playing mridangam, who is extraordinary, and we'll have S.R. Vinu playing violin and Dr. S. Karthik playing katam. So you look at S.R. Vinu's guru. I don't want to name names, but just look at Vinu's guru, Harikumar's guru, and Karthik's guru, and look at all the others they have trained. See if anybody is like Vinu or Harikumar or Karthik. So I have one student, Amrita Venkatesh. So somebody listens to Amrita and likes her singing a lot, and they say, "Oh wow, Amrita is singing so nice. Who's she learning from?" Ah, she's learning from Prince Rama Varma. Oh, okay, then that means if you learn from Prince Rama Varma, you can sing like Amrita. No, it does not happen. So nobody has that magic touch by which you learn from them; they just become superstars. So only that 25% if we can take from our guru is wonderful. But even if we take whatever our guru gives us, we take, even then only 25% is there. So rest we have to develop on our own. But when I was in my late teens and early 20s, for a very brief period, I tried to learn martial arts, so karate. So not Kerala Kalari, I learned karate only. I can't even say I learned. I just went to a karate master. He just passed away recently, so I was thinking of him a lot. So the kind of advice he gave me, that has influenced me a lot. And because I was very, very, very crazy about martial arts all my life, specifically because of Bruce Lee, and not Bruce Lee, the superstar karate, but Bruce Lee, the philosopher. He's written thousands of pages of his thoughts about various things. So one example, since we are talking about Indian traditional classical raga music, in martial arts also they have this traditional martial arts. So traditional martial arts means I want to punch you and knock you down. So first step is I keep my hand like this. Second step is like I move back like. Third step is I do like that, and then I put my right foot forward, then put my left foot backward, and there are 15 steps before which finally after that I punch you. By that time you would have gone home and had a cup of tea, you know. So what Bruce Lee did was that he wanted to strip the traditional martial arts of all unnecessary being the key word, all unnecessary ornamentation. So I absolutely, so with the minimum time, minimum effort, minimum energy expended, he has to punch that guy and knock him down. So he stripped, made it very minimalistic. So I completely follow this in my approach to Carnatic music, though I never learned karate properly. But in music, I apply his theory and I find that Hrudayam of Carnatic music, the essence, the soul, what characterizes Carnatic music is Gamakam, but which is not there in other systems except Hindustani music. But that Gamakam is like salt in food, no? Without salt, it is not tasty. But you put too much salt also, either you can't eat it at all or you will get BP. So Gamakam, unfortunately, is one of the many things which are overused in Carnatic music. So that, see, now I demonstrated how to sing Kedaragaula or Neelambari. That is pure Gamakam only. But the excess, if you sing Todi, so this kind of that flavor, you can sing Dani Sari Gari Sa Na Na Na. See the same ni ni the that we can cross, no? So Gari Sa Ga Na, it becomes flat and gross, no? So even while singing sari sani sari sani this everything is shaking. So that becomes very gross and unbearable, which is why this great system of Indian classical music is where it is instead of where it should be in the world scenario. Even pizza or French fries have conquered the whole world, no? So, but Indian classical music, many people use that. Jazz musicians, they fusion people, they learn a little bit and use our swaram singing and whatever for improvisation. But the actual thing in its authentic form, without being polluted, diluted, mixed with something else, is not where it should be, in my opinion. And that is just one example by how Bruce Lee has influenced my music. So like that, I have read a lot of books written by people who are much more intelligent than me, and who have left their thoughts for us to benefit from. There's one small book called Letters to a Young Poet. The person who wrote that at that time, he was only 30 years old or something. So he was a poet, and one teenage boy wrote to him, and he replied giving advice for it. It's a small book. It's available online in PDF form also. Just 6 or 7 letters. There's so much to learn if we stick by our ideals, what price we pay. If we dilute ourselves, what we get, but then what the aftertaste is like. And my gurus were also like Balamurali Krishna sir, for example. He had several stages in his career. Once, as a child prodigy, 6-year-old, he's already blazing a trail. My guru, Veena, K.S. Naraswamy, has heard him sitting on his guru's lap, wearing a jacket and a cap as a 6-year-old and just singing and blowing everybody away. That same Balamurali Krishna, then he started inventing new ragas and something like, you look at the painter Picasso, who was the greatest realistic master of his times. Then he became impressionist. Not because he didn't know realistic painting. So Balamurali sir also, he started experimenting and doing something new, something different. That became the motto. So that is another stage. Then last few years, it became about Padma Shri and Padma Bhushan and Padma Vibhushan and 12 doctorates and this award and that award and being a chief guest and having everyone wow, Balamurali Krishna. So, and I didn't know him as a prodigy. I was not born at that time. I didn't know him when he was experimenting and bringing out these new things, because again, I was a kid only. I joined him in 1995, and then just spending time with him. I would go to his house at 9:30. Class would be only for 10 minutes. He'd just sing one song. I'll repeat. He would allow me to record on a Walkman. That's it. Class is over. Then I would leave. Finally, from 9:30 in the morning till 5:30 in the evening, I'll be with him for years and years and years and years. There were so many influences, like both ways. What we learn from how to do and what we learn to avoid also. Both I have learned.
So, my next question is about what we all dread in our lives, failure. How have you dealt with it? And do you associate any stories when you failed and got back on your feet for the first time? And following that question, why do you think it is important for one to taste failure in their life?
So suppose you 1 to 100 number you keep, means I have probably 93 failures and 7 successes. That is the percentage. Mostly failures only, which is why I am normal. No, what I just spoke about has not happened to me. If I had only success, probably that would have happened. So failure is very bitter. But failure, firstly, lets us know who our real friends are, who are not celebrating the fact that we failed, and they give us support, they give us kindness, mercy, and they give us inspiration, saying, "No, no, no, it'll be all right." Each day, something happens which makes us lose hope more. No, so it's very difficult to not lose hope. So I do, since I'm not this knowing all Swamiji type, I don't have an answer as a solution. If you do this, then you'll be fine. So I face my own struggles a lot, and it's an ongoing thing. In my career specifically, as I said earlier, when I first used to sing and big people used to play with me and all that, without listening to me, people would say, "Oh, he's bad," or somebody would say, "Oh, you can't approach him. He must be royal family, very arrogant or whatever." But after YouTube came and videos of my teaching, videos of my performing, videos of my talking came, people can't. If they like it, means they call me. That's all. The people who say no, no, he can't sing, they can't do that anymore, because you can listen to me and judge for yourself. We have to think like that. Yeah.
I've listened to so many of your concerts. Your concerts are very special where we get to hear no to Swaras. So, what made you include them in the concert repertoire? So, and also, can you sing one for us, please?
Actually, I love Shuddha Swarams. Gamakams are there, but just Shuddha Swarams, people call them plain notes or flat notes. Both are wrong. I call them Shuddha Swaram, which in English will be pure notes. So pure notes, they just hit. That is why Kishore Kumar's biggest strength was it. Hey, hey, huh? Hey, hey, ho, ho. Just hits like that. So steady. So it is like a person standing on a hillside and singing out. Like it's not an inside a studio kind of voice. So that I always liked. And since Carnatic music has, of course, Shankarabaranam Gandharam is pure Gandharam, it is not shaking. But since we have this surplus of gamakams, many times wrong gamakams, excess gamakams wrongly placed also, just for a contrast, I didn't even know about Notuswarams till a few years ago. I had heard Balamurli sir sing Varalila Gandola, which is Tyagaraja's Notuswara, and Pahi Ramachandra, one or two like that. But that Dikshitar had these many Notuswarams. I didn't. Shakti Sahita Ganapatim I had heard. Maybe Shyamale Meenakshi or Vande Meenakshi, I had heard the tune. Sagga, 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 magari za neri, 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 gari za ni, sagga, sagga, sarigamapa, magari za, gari za ni za. Like that, and that tempo. So even for my classes, many times very small children attend. Then I find that these notu swarams, if I sing the swaram also, not just the sahityam, it is a very friendly, attractive, sweet, and nice way to acquaint the children with the swarams. So pamaga gamari riga sa 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 riga ma paga gamari ri ri pamaga gamari riga sa 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 riga magari sa ni sa riga sa 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 pamaga sani da pa pamaga mari pamaga sani da pamaga ri 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 pamaga pamaga ri magari sa 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 gama pa sa pa sa pa da pa ma ga ma re re ga ma pa sa pa ga ma pa ma ga re sa 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 कमलासन वंदित पादाब्जे कमनीय करोदय साम्राज्य कमला नगरे सकलाकारे कमल नयन धृत जगदाधारे कमले विमले गुरुगुह जननि कमलापतिनुत हृदये माये कमल शशि विजय वदने मेये कमलेन्द्राणि वाग्देवी श्री गौरी पूजित हृदयानन्दे कमलाक्षि पाहि कामाक्षि कामेश्वर वरसति कल्याणी. Like that. So this, for example, pamaga gamari riga, when I'm teaching, somebody will sing pamaga gamari riga sa. So gamari, gamari. I'll say no, mari re is not there. Gamari. So then gamari, then riga sa sa riga sa sa. No, riga sa. So staccato each note in its position without gliding, without shaking, without oscillating. So it helps fix the. So of course they are all the Shankarabharanam type Western major scale notes. So at least sa re ga ma pa da ni position at least will get imprinted in their mind. And I tell them, not only for Notusaram, for everything, you have speed on one side, clarity on one side. Always go for clarity first. So 100% clarity, then slowly speed can come. But without clarity, you start singing fast means everything will always be messy and not clear. So for all that, Notusarams are very, and it makes people smile immediately. Older people, in fact, there's a video you can search on YouTube. My name Prince Rama Varma, Vande Meenakshi. So I sang Vande Meenakshi. Then it's unscientific only, but like a bhajan, I increase it. Vande Meenakshi. Then Vande Meenakshi. Tvam Sarasi Jabra. 3 steps, I increase the speed. So in the audience, one gentleman has taken a video of the audience also. One senior citizen is there with a walking stick. So he's sitting there like that. At first, he's looking into his phone like that. And then as the tempo increases and the final thing, he is hitting with the stick and almost jumping up and down. So it's not only for 3-year-old or 5-year-olds, even 85-year-old person also feel the joy. And the Dikshitar's, the beauty of Dikshitar's Sanskritam, where we don't have to worry about the gamakams and the raga swarupa and all. Just the sahityam the beauty of the sahityam hits us directly with the Notusarams.
And what, according to you, are some of the essential and must-have attributes as a student of music?
Student, open mind. Open mind, definitely. It's like, oh, I am Balamurli Shishya, so I don't want to hear anybody. That is stupidest thing. Nobody is complete. I am a Balamurli Shishya. Before that, I was Vechur Sir Shishya. Before that, I was my Veena Guru, K.S. Narayanaswamy and Venkatraman Shishya, officially. But I have been taking, even now taking from Chembai Vaidyanatha Bhagavatar, from Madurai Mani Iyer, from M.D. Ramanathan, from Volati Venkateswarlu, from T.K. Rangachari, from Ramnath Krishnan, from K.B. Sundarambal, who never studied any music. So there's so much we can take. So that thirst for knowledge, to learn more. I have one successful formula means, okay, that's enough. See, just now in April, I had a concert in my hometown, Thiruvananthapuram. It was Aswathi Thirunal Jayanti Festival. So Aswathi Thirunal, I'm from that family only. So I gave a concert where from Varnam to Mangalam, every single song I sang for the first time, which I had never sung before. Some are popular songs, like Pahi Parvata Nandini or Sumasayaka, which many people, but I had never sung it. So at this stage in my life, at age 53, it's not to prove anything, just for my own thing. Okay, I gave in a concert, you sing one song you have never sung before itself, we feel excited, it's nice. But entire Varnam to Mangalam, just this April, I gave a concert. All news, so people who have been listening to my YouTube videos for 10 years, they were, oh, we have not heard any of this in YouTube. I said, that's because I have not sung it at all. So like that, constantly push ourselves. Suppose my voice does not go below lower Panchama, try and go lower Madhyama. Suppose it does not go high, push that. Suppose voice sounds like that, then make it more rounded, the tonal richness. The range is only one aspect. You can have a very beautiful voice even without big range. Even one normal Panchamam itself can give us one kind of feeling. So always think of what more we can do than just look back and say, oh, Balamurali Krishna played viola for me. What do you? No, that's done. Okay, it's like one big blessing came, but that is over now. So look forward to doing more and more and being worthy. Suppose we get an award or we get some recognition, we should be worthy of that and not feel that, oh, this award is so great, I don't deserve. Like, we should deserve that award and we should be even better, always better. So that open-mindedness, desire to learn, desire to improve, listen to others. There are so many musicians whom I may not like as human beings, but I'm always curious to see what they are doing. And oh, that's a nice idea, so I take that. Or, oh, that sounds stupid. Even in a musician I like a lot, if one thing is unpalatable, I say, no, I like him a lot, but that thing, no, I don't. So not be just blinded by your love for somebody or hatred for somebody. Just objectively take what is good.
I just have the last segment with just 5 or 6 questions that you would probably have 1 or 2 words as your answer. So, what is your favorite composition or song in general?
It's a very, very difficult. I mean, there are so many songs. There's
Anything that quickly comes to your mind.
you see, now Kamalasana Vandita I sang. So, yes.
What is central to you, the journey or the destination?
Oh, definitely Johnny, 100%.
Have you had to make any sacrifices for your musical career?
Lot. It's still going on.
Any quick tip on how young learners can begin their journey in music?
I can give 5 tips. Listen, and listen. You have to listen. There is no escape. And now material is there. Earlier it was. See, I am talking about Madurai. He's my favorite guy. He died before I was born. So I'm talking, one of the biggest presences in my life is a man who died before I was born. But now hundreds of hours of his music is available on YouTube. So if you, since our music is Manodharma Pradhanam or improvisational, I suppose I want to be a writer, means I have to read books by different writers, and it will all go inside me. Then my own style will evolve like that, because manodharmam or improvisation is there. If you just want to learn a song, you'll hear that song, practice it, then it's done. But to get improvisation, a lot of listening and active listening, not just doing something else and music is playing, but really actively listen. So listening is the most important. Otherwise, you can have the best guru. You can be doing sadhanam practice every day, 3 hours or whatever. Still, it will not grow. But you don't have such a great guru. You are not practicing much also, but you really listen to a lot. I talk more about great musicians who are no longer alive than including me, anybody who is singing now, because so much is there. Their music is very dynamic and vibrant and still alive, even though the people died. So Valatti Venkateswarlu and many of them are, and Pudukot Krishnamurthy, he died as principal of Kalakshetra, but nobody knows him. And he sang only with the Lalgudi, T.N. Krishnan, M.S. Gopalakrishnan, T.K. Murthy, Velu Ramabhadran, Sivarama, people like that. And people who know him, we know him. But the general public is not aware that such a great musician was there and he was principal of Kalakshetra. Now his recordings are there on YouTube. You just listen to that. It's not like his swaram singing was good. Everything is strong. I mean, swaram singing or enunciation or voice or shruti or tempo and range, everything is good. So there have been complete musicians like that whom we can still benefit from. So music student means they have to listen. That's all.
What is that last thought that comes to your mind before retiring for the day?
That I think generally I review. I mean, unless I'm too tired, I just fall asleep. But otherwise, every day I review. Okay, today what did I do? Did I do anything which benefits me or improves my music or benefited somebody else or made somebody smile or laugh, something like that? And if I find that one day nothing much happened with it, then that day is waste. Okay, so every day I try and do, maybe even forward a joke to somebody or make a joke. Because for me, as I said, my first love is food, which is why I have a weight problem. Second love is laughter. So I'm addicted to comedy. So if you see 10 of my books, 8 will be funny books. Right? So, and now with YouTube and all that, so many funny clips. You don't even have to watch a movie. You can just watch funny clips. So I'm addicted to comedy. Third is music, actually. So in music, some people say, oh, you're a classical musician. How come you are so lighthearted? For me, it is not a problem making a joke. It's a problem to control myself from making a joke. In a concert, I have to be serious and not make a joke. No? So yeah. So if I make somebody laugh or I make somebody happy, means then I'm very happy. If I could learn something, then I'm very happy. If I can teach somebody something and they learn something, then also I'm very. These are 3 things. Mostly I'm successful in that because every day one of these things happen. Sometimes more than one of these things.
I think that unfortunately brings us to the end of this discussion. While I would have loved to know more and more about your life. Thank you so much, Varmati, for the enriching talk actually. So your enthusiasm, passion, humility, that I think students should definitely take note of, that are some of the qualities every student of music has to imbibe and follow also, including me, definitely. And I personally had a great time speaking to you, understanding your musical journey. I'm sure many students will benefit from listening to your talk today. And thank you so much for your time, and
Thank
thanks
you.
once
This
again.
totally my pleasure.
Namaste.